Grand Rising loves. Happy Saturn Day. Saturn, the planet of expansion, extending our energy beyond the boundaries of what we really are, most especially the confines of our physical bodies. So this is the altar spread for the collective consciousness today. And so when I say for the collective consciousness, I mean everyone. And so my intention is when I draw these cards, it's for the greatest percentage of the collective. What do they need to know? What is the message that has to be delivered? And this is what comes up. So it is not the same pull that I get for myself. But this is for the greatest percentage. So if it resonates for you, then you fall into that category. If it does not, then it's not for you. So this is current for the day or whenever you happen upon this video. So obviously, if you come across older videos and all of a sudden it resonates with you, that was some kind of synchronicity that drew you to that video to watch it and that you needed the message of it, correct? Yes. So the different decks that I use, Sacred Geometry, the Shaman deck, Stone Allies, and the Earth Warriors. So these first two cards are always the energy of the day. What are we moving through? What are you feeling? What has to be healed? What has to be addressed? What has to be, what is it that you have to be aware of? So where awareness goes, energy flows. When you are aware of something, sometimes that's all you need is just to bring your awareness into that. Your energy will flow into that, and then it can unstick whatever the energy is that's causing that particular experience, reality, misalignment, disharmony, however you want to call that. So the energy of today for the sacred geometry is the Antakarana. Now, the Antakarana is an ancient symbol of ascension, and it's used by ancient Buddhist practices, and it's believed that if you meditate on that symbol, it actually facilitates ascension. Okay, unfortunately, this was appropriated by the Nazis, but just having this in your sacred space, it is believed that this facilitates ascension. And so what it does is it moves the energy in a way that unsticks any emotional congestion, trauma, any type of stuck prana, chi, the sanjiao, however you want to call that. Oh, good morning, Douglas. Grand Rising. So just having that in your area, in your space, it is believed that it actually facilitates ascension. Now, meditating on the symbol itself can also have a very profound effect in bringing you into your higher self. It's like a propeller, and if you look at the image itself, it looks like a boat propeller or the propeller on a prop plane. And so I think that symbolism in itself is not a coincidence. So just think about that for today. What are you needing to do? Because yesterday I was talking about the disconnection. So if you are connected, what do you then want to do? You want to bring yourself into that higher awareness. You want to ascend. You want to evolve. You want to keep that forward motion going. And so the Antakarana does that. Now, the beauty way, this showed up in the reverse. And look at this beautiful card. So dragonfly is actually one of my totems, and the lotus is the symbol of ascension. Okay? Because out of the mud and muck that beautiful blossom comes from every single day at sunrise then comes to the surface of the water and unfolds. And then each night when it's dark, it disappears back into the depths and becomes that feminine receptive. But every day for the sun, and the sun is a symbol of masculine and action, but it comes and opens itself to that energy, and then every night retreats. So the beauty way usually brings the message of being connected and actually taking all of the beauty and in such a harmonious alignment. But in the reverse, it actually talks about relationship, that you actually need to move on from a relationship that is no longer serving you. So if this resonates with you, honor self over all. There very strongly is the mindset in the old paradigm of obligation and duty. That is actually not love at all. Where there's this whole idea of, I want to grow old with someone and I am yoked with them for eternity. And you know what? Sometimes that happens, and that's a beautiful thing. And then most of the time, it does not happen. And you want to know why? Because we are in a new age where we are having to heal a lot of shit that is wrong with the collective. So unfortunately, people are not properly yoked. And so that's why divorce is rampant right now. That's why it's a very common thing to not stay the long haul. Because people are becoming so aware that they are actually on this escalator of types where relationship is propelling them into ascension. And so not everyone is meant to stay forever, but we are being refined through those experiences, not defined through those experiences. And so when you see an older couple walking down the sidewalk, holding hands and completely smitten with each other, don't for a second make the assumption that they have been together since they were teens. Because I know a whole lot of couples in their winter that have just met, and their whole life they've been a slave to obligation. And when their partner finally crosses over, they are free and sovereign again. And they get to meet someone that they are completely yoked with in the last years of their life. So don't for a second think that they've been together for decades. That's the misconception. And then you start judging yourself saying, I just can't stay the long haul with anybody. Maybe it's me that's broken. No, stop that. Oh, Amanda says, I was just going to say, it looks like the spin thing on a plane. Yes, the propeller. And it is a propeller. I mean, that's the whole point, is that's a symbol of ascension. So the beauty way in reverse is saying you're in a relationship that's not serving you. And you really do need to let go in order to clear space for that which is actually meant for you. And I love the quote. I had actually shared it, I want to say like a week, maybe even 2 weeks ago. Sadhu Guru, where he was talking about how duty is a dirty 4-letter word, and that any love that you are giving out of obligation, you are actually humiliating that person on the receiving end. Because obligation and duty is not love at all. It's ugly. And you're arrogant to believe that that's even close to what love is. I always say Salome is my true symbol of love. He can fly anywhere in the world he dreams, and yet chooses me every single day. And so through that choosing of me, choosing to brave the elements, he sleeps exposed. He doesn't even sleep in the tree like other birds. He sleeps completely exposed to the elements. And now it's getting warmer. It's really heating up. And he showed up in September, but he showed up as an adult. He wasn't a fledgling when he came here. He was a full-on adult in a crowded neighborhood and chose my home. So very specifically and magically appeared for me, chose me, and he's not going anywhere. And so he teaches me so much about that, the surrender of love, and also the ultimate freedom of love. And so that's what I would always wish for myself. The one who chooses me but can fly and go any moment or any day of his choosing, but still chooses to be here. That's what real love is. It is completely free. It doesn't mean, because there's a whole movement now that talks about the polyamorous community is trying to say that that's spiritual. That is not spiritual love. You can call it whatever you want, and I'm not judging polyamory, but what I am saying is that it is not spiritual, not even close. True, sacred, spiritual love is complete union with one-on-one. It is a devotion that does not leak energy outside of that union. And what is leaking energy? I'm not talking about just having sexual relations with others. I'm talking about entertaining them through messages. I'm talking about texting. I'm talking about sharing a lunch with someone. That is all leaking energy. That leaks energy, and it takes you out of the sacredness of a union. That is not okay. So if you are considering a spiritual and sacred divine union that can actually elevate you, like you can actually transcend and reach the state of full samadhi and transcendence through sacred union, but it has to be completely clean. Completely clean. And I have full soul memory of doing this in past lives. And I know that that's also what I'm meant to be doing in this life. And so moving forward. Now, so the energy of these is connecting with your higher self and letting go of that which is no longer serving you by way of relationship, because this specifically refers to a relationship. And obsidian is your tool to do that. Now, this is talking about protection. Now, I love obsidian as an ally, and it's actually one of my totems, so I have lots of show and tell for obsidian. But know that the way that obsidian works as protection, some stones like smoky quartz, which is also protective, is more of a sponge. It absorbs and takes it out of the environment. Black tourmaline takes it, transmutes it, and sends it back out. Obsidian actually returns it to the sender to actually put them off balance so that they can experience that very intention that they sent to someone, which is beautiful by the way of protection, because obsidian also teaches. Because if you have the intent to do anyone maliciousness or harm, any of that intent, obsidian takes and says, oh, really? Well, this is what that would feel like. So obsidian is a beautiful ally, but what it also does, it's a psychic reset, and a lot of people don't realize that about obsidian because it's never talked about. Obsidian actually cleans the slate of the intellect. so that you are completely aligned with the higher self, which is awesome for these two to be working together today in a spread. Obsidian with the Antakarana. That's so amazing. That is really aligned for this spread today. And so the expansion of a Saturday, because Saturn is the ruler of Saturday, that's also amazing for that to show up. So I love that. And then, show and tell. I almost forgot. Eee! Okay, what does Amanda say? I told my husband that's how I feel so free in our love, and that I don't have to fake or stop myself from saying or doing things I want. I used to be the opposite, hide myself, and thought I was crazy. Oh, thank you for sharing that, Amanda. That is the ultimate form of self-love, by the way, is not editing, being so authentically and unapologetically you in every environment. And we really do need to feel ultimately safe to do that. And so that is such a beautiful compliment to him. But the greater we love ourselves, the greater our partner can also love us. So that brings you into a deeper level of intimacy, and that's beautiful. So this is the first show and tell of obsidian. This is beautiful silver aura obsidian. It's a sphere. And so when a stone is cut into a sphere, it actually sends its energy in your entire environment. So this is protecting me in my sacred space. Isn't that beautiful? It literally is magical. This is an authentic obsidian blade. And I actually use this for my own sacred ceremonies to sever cords, cut ties. But this is an authentic obsidian blade that maybe historically was used to skin. And this is also an authentic obsidian arrowhead. And these are also very protective. And like I said, obsidian is a totem, my totem stone. And so not only do we have animal totems, like for me, it's the dragonfly, the barn owl, and the diurnal partner of the barn owl is the hawk. So those are my totems. And of course now, beautiful Salome is an amazing totem. But this is the piece de resistance. This is Virgil. Virgil is a beautiful ally in my sacred space. This is obsidian skull. He's really heavy, by the way. But this is my baby. And those are actually azurite blueberries as his eyes, because I just thought it was badass. And he usually has a blue lotus to decorate his head. And that is one of Salome's feathers in his blue lotus. So anyhow, that's the show and tell for today. And the culmination of today's spread is Padma Sundari, out of the darkness, light is born. So this actually talks about you being protected on the ascension from doing that shadow work, that darkness, and coming into the light. That evolution is actually in the process of happening. Thank you. Is it Luigi? Thank you. Thank you, Amanda. Isn't Virgil awesome? So I asked him his name when I first got him. He spent actually a few days on my altar before I started connecting with him. And so I asked him his name, and I got Virgil, and I was like, ah. And I was so judgmental because I wanted it to be something badass like Maximus or something, right? And I'm like, Virgil. So I Googled like the meaning of Virgil, and Virgil is the staff keeper. And so in ancient shamanism, he who holds the staff is the wisest. So I was like, okay, I am so sorry. Please forgive me. Please forgive me, Virgil. That is a dutiful name. Thank you. And I am forever reverent of you as an ally in my sacred space. So Virgil, yes, is also an appropriate and awesome name. So anyhow, that is the spread for today. Happy Saturn Day, and I love you all. I am ever so appreciative of you sharing your most valuable commodity with me, your time and energy. Thank you. I love you. I love you. And I am sorry for any misalignment that I myself have caused. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. Thank you for this opportunity. I love you. I love you. I love you.